היום, כבר אתמול ידעתי מה הכיוון שאני הולכת. What I wanted, the word I'm going with today is mundane. I don't know why, I really like that word, mundane, yom-yomi. So let's start kind of feeling the ground beneath us. Remember when we started, we used to have this search of the ground beneath us with every foot and each part of the foot with the ground beneath us. So we have the sides of our feet and the heels and the toes and the inside. And just kacha, let's try replacing and replacing and replacing our feet on the ground. And just, it's still morning, but I'm sure our thoughts are already scattered. Just kind of collect a day or a moment. And you know what, as I'm doing this motion with my hands, collect something, like collecting something uncollectible. Okay, so we collect it and it gets away. We collect it and it gets away. And that's kind of some of the mundane we have in us. But we're going to use it in a positive way. And think of the mundane as special, as the moment everything happens. And if we take our feet and keep moving them each on its own, all around on the ground beneath us, and then just kind of add our knees into it. And it's as if we're maybe even taking that idea and adding salt and pepper with our knees into our feet, connecting to the ground. So we want to take our body, kind of shift it in these few moments together from mundane into special, maybe appreciation as we speak. And as we added on the knees, we're going to add on our hips. And we can pour our hips onto our knees from our left side, from our right side. And as we pour it on, we add more information. And we keep thinking of that collecting and something, I don't want to say gets away, but we keep collecting it, like we can collect cotton wool or leaves. When you go like this and they get away. So they're still, they're together. I didn't mean that they dissolve. They get together, they bunch up, sukshen. And we have that sensation in our hips, kind of collecting maybe our knees, maybe our thighs, our feet. And let's plunge just with this simple move. Now we can dance with it around. Take our insides, our pelvis area, kind of place what we have there with our uterus. I was going to say, wow, barachli, sheten. If we're going to mundane, הרעיון הזה, שיש שלפוחית השתן here, and the uterus, כל האזור הזה, של השחלות, just kind of shake it lightly and comfortably, again, as if we're taking something very simple, very maybe even obvious, לאיזושהי נקודה. And just pouring it into our thighs, into our knees, into our feet, and putting the attention on the inside parts, kind of spacing them out in there. And we can also use them to pour a bit of that. It's like a soft motion with our hands, very comfortable. We can feel it in our lower back. Allow our lower back to kind of rest over one foot. Maybe a tailbone can swoosh around, fall into one heel and into the other heel. And try and see if you can reach a point where our tummy is wobbling, released. Just let's take a moment to try and reach that moment of letting go inside. Maybe we can feel it beforehand in our tushy and wobble. And we rest in it. We keep going and we rest in it. When we rest in something, it means we're looking for a point where there's no effort in the movement we're doing, and it's very comfortable to actually be in the situation. This is like the higher matara. And if there's one thing that changed in my life, מאוד משמעותי even, okay, I never used to be able to stand for long. And today I can't stand still. I mean, I can only stand, and I'll constantly be in a movement mode. So we want to reach that comfort within the movement, and the feet are still feeting the floor, and our ankles feeting the feet, and our knees, and our hips. And if we're just going to pay attention to what's happening in our chest, maybe in our shoulder blades, maybe in our arms, just communicating through our body parts, or with our body parts, with our feet, to our armpits, with our knees, to our wrists, with our kneecaps, to our shoulder blades. We're just kind of adding more air in, and more excitement and more specialness into the Mundane. And maybe even find yourself collapsing into different poses and different areas in your movement, in your habitual movement. Now that I'm putting my videos online, so it's amazing to see how I fall into my habits, become a noachli to be in them. So you have the opportunity, as those who don't need to concentrate on what's coming out of their mouths, to mamash, break free. Hi. We're still the same. We're still making the Mundane spectacular then. Okay, so
that went down, sorry.
Use that freedom that you have, mamash, with your own selves, to go and break into new movement. And then if we think of that Mundane into spectacular, mamash, like adding spark into our joints, into our bones, and see how the whole chest area resonates with our head, from our ears, from the top of our heads. From our jaws, and use it. Use your mouths, your tongue, maybe your teeth. And see if you can find new areas. להפיח בהם אוויר, תנועה. Doesn't have to be, התנועה doesn't have to be spectacular. The spectacular is how we feel about the mundane. How do we feel about our joints? And how spectacular it can be with only such few moves and such little focus. And how can I articulate my fingers? Somebody told me about, I don't even remember what the point of the story was, about how they can control dreams, how they teach to control dreams. Apparently, in your sleep, you look at your hands for 20 minutes. משהו כזה. I don't, לא לתפוס אותי במילה. It was something like that, because all I thought immediately was, I think being wide awake and looking at your hands for 20 minutes will definitely shift your awareness. בלי קשר לחלום. So let's take that idea of just staring at our parts, bringing out the spectacular. Letting it wobble where it can wobble. If it's my tummy and my tushy, if it's my thighs, if it's my arms, my breasts, כל שישקשק לו. Spectacularize, maybe that's the word I'll use. Let's spectacularize our body parts, our body emotions, our emotional emotions. And the more we go, the more we rested. The more we go, the harder it is to stop. Like, we want to reach that point of no return where our feet are just touching the ground, however, wherever, and our ankles respond, and our knees, and our sitting hip joints, sitting bones, and our vertebra. If we just think of each vertebra rega separately, having that spectacularization. כבר שכחתי what the word I said was. But still using it, taking it from one condition of being just a vertebra in our back into a spectacular organism, joined to other vertebrae. And allow it to ממש add more air. More space. And as I do that, I can ממש grab more space around me. Feel more owning to my body, feeling more owning of my voice maybe. If you can find a voice like to go with, use it. It can be a low hum from our lower tummy area. It can be a shh as we said, from the top of our head. Shh. Can be an ah from our heart. And let's use the steps, use our feet to step around. Take more parts of the room, own more parts of the room, own more parts of yourself. Allow your skin to participate. Spectacularize your skin. Amash. Covering our whole, keeping it all together for us. Indulge yourself. Take more air from around you. Put it in the areas that might need it karega. If it's in between joints, if it's taking it more to the extreme, bending lower to the ground, putting higher to the sky. Allow your shoulder blades to spread out in the room. As if we can send our parts away, rega. And let's, just before the song, before I bring in the song, let's go with our eyes. That was my initial thought of the Mundane, was like waking up. So let's use our eyes and metaphorically wake up, or not metaphorically. Pashut, look around your room, use your eyes, open them wide. Play with it, play with that. And with those adashot, look far away from where you are, look real close. And allow your head to shift the rest of the body. Not the head, sorry, I meant the eyes. Allow the eyes to shift the rest of the body. You can look up, all the way to your tailbone or all the way to your knees. And you can look down all the way to your heels and all the way to your shoulder blades. So I'm going to bring in this a cappella classic. description of that morning at the cafe is very mundane, but the song is spectacular, I think. So as we're gonna come back and collect our moves, bring them back to us, building up a better today for us in our joints, maybe in our mood, in our muscles, in our skin. And collecting and that sensation of collecting, we already have sort of a image of ourselves. Doesn't have to be tight in any way. Just going back to the feet.